This is beyond belief that of the handful of people who get to be on a committee about child sexual abuse, one of them is actually a sexual abuser of children.
Yeah, I'm absolutely disgusted. I feel really angry, actually. I'm not shocked because I just think from everything that I've experienced through my own life, everything I've witnessed and heard from other survivors and what's been happening around the country, nothing just seems to shock me anymore. I feel quite dead towards it, if I'm honest. But, the fact that this brave male survivor not only has come forward to the police, which is so difficult to do and go through the court process, he very bravely contacted the Tory party because he didn't want this man to be in power, and he was trying to help and protect other people. So, for him to do that is very brave and courageous, but then, of course, he's being ignored. And to top that off, this politician has then been allowed to work on a panel, talking about and dealing with a report that was meant to be trying to help what's going on in the country. I did that in good faith. And I'm absolutely disgusted the fact that he, as a politician, didn't say, well, actually, I'm under investigation for this crime. It's probably, in everyone's best interest if I don't get involved in this. I mean, he shouldn't even be a politician in the first place. But, even the Tories haven't done anything. I personally think there needs to be a full investigation. But, of course, what will probably happen is what usually happens. They might conduct an investigation. Nothing will really happen about it. We'll talk about it on air or in the news for a couple of days. It goes under the carpet. And then we'll be back in a couple of days after talking about a new scandal. I think it's quite appalling about what's going off with government officials. We've heard this week as well that MPs are watching porn. I want to know how many people have been charged, MPs and politicians, how many people have been charged or under investigation when it comes to things such as abuse, rape, exploitation. These people are paid by the public, by us, to run this country and to try and sort our country out. Our country's a mess. Well, what do we expect? These are the people running it.
That's very true. And in fact, just to connect this, he might be a backbencher. He might be an actual minister of the Crown. This guy who likes to watch porn on his telephone, sitting next to a female member in the House of Commons. What connects it is the recklessness of these guys. They think they're untouchable. So they think, as you wouldn't be able to do if you worked in a tea shop, that you can watch porn while you're sitting there in the House of Commons. Likewise, this guy thought the fact that he was in fact a paedophile made no difference to him going and sitting on a committee on child sexual abuse. Everything I know about this, Sammy, I've really learned from spending time with you, whatever it was, 5 or 6 years ago, because everything you said to me that day, now I hear echoes of when these stories come along. So, like, the victim goes to the trouble of filing a complaint and mails it in, and then, we don't seem to have any record. We don't have any. There's nothing about that in our files, which is what South Yorkshire Police did to you and all kinds of other young girls in Rotherham. So let's look at it this way. Complaining about a politician is difficult, specifically because that's powerful. It's not like being abused by a taxi driver or whatever. You know a lot about this sort of stuff. Have you ever had cause to actually make a complaint about a politician?
I have multiple, actually. In fact, the first time I ever spoke out with Andrew Norfolk at the Times newspaper, I named a then politician and my perpetrator. And I think at the time he stood down, but he then went on publicly to say, he was thinking about taking legal action for defamation, etc., which of course, he wouldn't win because I was telling the truth. And later on, when I did testify in court against my perpetrator, that particular event, my perpetrator was found guilty on. But then probably about 4 or 5 years ago, myself and other people in Rotherham tried to report a politician. In fact, I reported the then politician to that many people in government, and right the way up to the top, to the Ministry of Justice, the Home Office, Prime Minister. I was actually placed under investigation for harassment towards the politician. Now, South Yorkshire Police did do their investigation. I wasn't charged with anything, but unfortunately, a police officer at South Yorkshire Police did send an email with false information about me to this then politician, which very funnily happened to land in the hands of a journalist of a national newspaper. Now, when I did get informed of that, I did say I will take legal action. This is untrue. Not only is this politician trying to have me criminalised, trying to ruin my career, I then received letters from their legal team saying that they was going to take me to court to sue me, so I had to get a solicitor involved. Of course, that never went to court because they had no grounds. But for me personally, I've had, more stress from, people such as politicians that have reported and police officers, etc., than the actual rapist. I mean, I remember going and reporting a police officer. There was people in the community that actually did a protest about, me, the journalist, and the story. It's so difficult to come forward because they're such powerful people. They've got all the knowledge, they've got the money, the power. What do we have? It's scary.
Well, something. Well, what's very interesting to me, because I'm under investigation by the British TV regulator, Ofcom, right at the moment, and I don't know who's complained about me or anything, and we're told, no, the complainant, that has to remain anonymous to ensure that the process can all stay fair, so that I don't seek revenge on the person who's complained about me. And that's just in some itsy bitsy little nothing stupid complaint about a television show. But you're saying that when you complain about a politician for a serious criminal act, that South Yorkshire Police inform the accused politician of your name so that he can use all his powerful friends to destroy you and your reputation?
Well, this one was actually a female. The first one was male. Now, in a police investigation, of course, you have to put the name forward because you have to give that person, the right to respond. Both people did know my name. And as well, I actually spoke about them publicly as well, as I did feel it was in the public's best interest. A investigation did go underway, and a lot of the complaints that me and the other survivors made was upheld. So we did go on to prove that we was telling the truth, but it was just such a fight and a battle to get there. And, as we know, as lots of truths coming out, is there are perpetrators in very powerful positions, whether that's a politician, a police officer, a teacher, a social worker, etc. And a lot of perpetrators deliberately go into these positions to gain more power, so people don't come after them.
Well, let me ask you about that, Sammy, because that is of interest to me. From your town, we had this case just a couple of months back where Lord Ahmed, who Tony Blair put in the House of Lords, Lord Ahmed was convicted of child sexual abuse. We have a guy who for decades was the most famous Liberal member of Parliament, Sir Cyril Smith in Rochdale, who was getting up to all kinds of things there. And do you think that seems slightly disproportionate to me? In other words, do you think there is a problem with people who actually behave as this guy Imran Khan did, that you just hit on, you drag a 15-year-old boy upstairs, you watch porn with him, you rape him, and what's he going to do about it? Because he won't even know who you are until he switches on the TV and he sees you on the BBC talking to Emily Maitlis or whatever, and then he's really got to have guts even to challenge, even to tell what that guy has done to him.
Yeah, and I do definitely think they are definitely more paedophiles working within government. And as I say, I would like, and I think the public need to know just how many people are on investigation or on the sex offenders register. I think we have the right to know that. But yeah, I think that this is a serious problem, because when you come forward as a survivor, it is so hard to be believed, and we're victim blamed a lot. And one thing that I got told quite often is that I wouldn't be a reliable witness. I think we need a serious shake-up, not just in government, but the entire system, because we still have a system that is not fit for purpose. And what people need to recognise, and I say all the time, when we come forward as survivors, we want to be supported, we want to be believed, we want to go through that court process and try and get justice. And there's too many hurdles, unfortunately, in the way. Now, I know there's good professionals out there, because from my own experience, I've got, both positive and negative experiences from professionals. But I work with them as well. And I know they're as frustrated as what we are to make sure that the system is better for when people are coming forward.